How to write a strategy story. Storytelling is a powerful skill, and when used in strategy, it can influence decision makers to get buy-in, persuade teams to rally behind a bold ambition, and be the GPS that guides teams to hit goals over many years. Storytelling gives you the power to clearly communicate your idea and persuade people to take action. Writing your strategy will help you crystallize your thoughts and express your ideas. And once you've framed your problem and done your analysis and crafted your insights, you will eventually be able to sit down, look at all the pieces of the puzzle, and actually write the narrative that is your strategy. In an earlier video, I showed a beginner-friendly way to create a strategy using an example called Creator Space. Now I'll leave a link in the description below so you can check out that video next, and I'll use the example from that video to show you how to write a story for the strategy that we actually created there. Story can take many shapes, and that's no different for strategy story. There's one story shape that I find particularly helpful when it comes to writing a strategy, and it's based on a structure called the Freytag pyramid. The Freytag pyramid has 5 parts to it, which we can adapt for strategy storytelling. Let's dive in. Step 1. Establish context. This is the beginning of our story. Here, we want to get a lay of the land and set the scene for our audience. This is important because we can't assume everyone who's reading our strategy knows the details about our current history or the market context that led up to that point in time where we have to develop the strategy. And this is a way for us to level set and get everyone on the same page. Let's take a look at an example for Creator Space. Feel free to pause the video here to read the full context example. I might just call out the main points. We first start by talking about the growth in the co-working space, and then touch on the transition from traditional models to remote or flexible models. We also mention how the growth in the gig economy is also helping to expand the co-work market. And that's the context. We set the scene and we know this is about the growth in the co-working space. Straightforward enough, let's move to the next step. Step 2, rising action. Here we want to be able to describe the challenge. We need to introduce to the audience the problem and the significance and urgency of that problem. Strategy is often about solving a problem, but for people to care about the problem and about solving it, we need to talk about the implications of the problem itself. Many strategies fall apart in this step alone because the challenge was simply not compelling enough for anyone to act. A strategy needs to be persuasive, and for that to be effective, we need to rally our team around a big problem we're trying to solve. Let's take a look at an example. We call out the growth in the creator market and make an observation that although there are plenty of co-work spaces, none are actually offering the tools and space for them to make content and connect with like-minded creators. Now we can press this further by saying that currently we're looking at a problem of high demand and low supply, and that there's a small window where the supply-demand imbalance could persist. And now we've described the problem, so it makes sense for us to progress the story that addresses the challenge that we've described with the next step. Step 3, climax. Introduce the solution to the problem. We establish the significance of the problem, so now our audience cares and are keen to hear about how we could go about solving the problem and winning in the marketplace. So we put forward a design for our solution. The solution should clearly tackle each issue that we raised in the challenge earlier. It should be obvious how it's a better option. If it's not obvious and clear to the audience at this point in the story that our solution is clearly solving the problem, then we could actually lose our audience. The problem-solution dynamic is actually very important. We raise the tension with the problem, and then we offer the way to resolve it in a long-term, sustainable way. The step is effectively the big idea of the strategy. When we present the solution, we should describe its value proposition. This is the difference of our solution and how it offers value to our customers. The thinking with this step is we are painting a picture of the future state that our audience can look forward to, and it can become an anchor point of our strategy. Let's continue with our example. We see the North Star here is that Creator Space is a creator-first co-working space. And we go on to describe that this is the vision of the future state and what it might look like. We state our difference, and that is our facilities are tailored specifically to the needs of the creators, which is unlike any other co-work space. In this part of the story, we can actually expand on the idea further by bringing it to life with a customer journey example. to show how it actually works. Step 4, falling action. In this step, we describe the details of how we can realize the big idea. In a strategy, we present a solution to a problem, and we are effectively saying, this is how we win. We did this in the previous step. We presented the solution and its value proposition. Now we need to expand on this concept and talk about the specific steps we need that will help us win in the marketplace. We typically want to pick the 3 to 5 high priority actions we need to take to get us close to the vision of the future state. When talking about our actions, do it in a way that states the actions we need to take and then provide the specifics that fall under this action. Strategy often forces us to make choices. It recognizes we have limited resources and time, and in this step, we make those strategic choices. Let's see an example of this. We can see there are 3 big priorities we need to realize the vision of co-working for creators. The first priority is around building creator-led facilities, so we design and build inspiring, comfortable spaces for creators, which have all the necessary equipment and tools. The second priority is around building a creator community that will help creators network, and we'll do this with networking events and guest speakers. And the third priority is on acquisition. That is, how do we attract and sign up creators to our spaces? And we do this through partnerships and through paid and organic social media advertising. So that's the 3 blocks of actions that we need to take, which describes our strategy for winning in this market. We can expand this further by double-clicking on each action block if we want to go into the next level of detail of the strategy story. Now that we've explained the actions, we now need to find a way to close out the story. Step 5, resolution. In this step, we lay out our execution plan. We are now at the final part of the story, so we need to find a good way to end the story. There are a few ways to end stories. The best way to do it is by discussing our approach to execution so we can realize the strategy. In other words, we should discuss how we turn our ideas into reality. In this part of the story, we want to communicate and illustrate how we intend to go from point A, which is the current state, to point B, which is the future state. There are many ways to do this, like a traditional roadmap or a Gantt chart, but a simple way is to show the progression using a 3-horizon model. An example of this could be Horizon 1, foundation, set it up. Horizon 2, scale, grow your model. Horizon 3, optimize, improve each part. Let's use this framework for our creator space example. In Horizon 1, foundation, we're focused on building the flagship site and delivering on the experience that our creators will love and talk about. In Horizon 2, scale, we'll use the playbook from the original site and begin expanding to new site, executing better as we repeat the process. In Horizon 3, optimize, we review each part of our system and find ways to improve it. We have economies of scale, which we can use to deliver a consistent experience and reduce our unit costs. And that's a good way to close out our strategy story. If you're enjoying this sort of strategy content, then I encourage you to check out overnightstrategist.com to get access to quality tools and training so you can make ridiculously good strategy. We can use the 5-step model of the Freytag pyramid to write any strategy. It gives us a structure to frame the problem and present the solution, and we can provide more specifics as we progress the strategy story. Strategy is about winning. A strategy story should talk about what winning looks like and how we intend to win. Thanks, and see you soon.